You ever say to yourself, I really hate kids and I never want them? Well, I have a film for you, a new horror film called There's Something Wrong with the Children that is now available to stream on MGM Plus and also to rent on VOD. What did I think about this film? Well, stick around and let's discuss it. A family takes a weekend trip with longtime friends and their two young children, but they suspect something supernatural when the kids behave strangely after disappearing into the woods overnight. The film stars Alisha Wainwright, Amanda Crew, Carlos Santos, and Zach Gilford, and was directed by Roxanne Benjamin. Hey everyone, my name is Ryan. Thank you guys for clicking on this video, whether you're new or you are returning to the channel. If you are new, hit that subscribe button, give the video a like, and also comment below what you thought about this film. If you haven't checked out this film, just say, hey, what's up in the comments. So what did I think about this film and what did I know going into this film? Well, I knew absolutely nothing about this film. I honestly did a Google search and I was just really looking to review a new horror film, and this film came up. The poster seemed really intriguing. I saw that Zach Gilford was in this. I've seen him in a few films, and Amanda Crew, I've seen her in other films. She's actually been in a lot of films that I've seen. She's not really a big actress, but she's been in some smaller films that I've seen before, so the cast here was the biggest draw and one of the positives that I can say that I really did like about this film. I also like the unique soundtrack for this film. I found that there are some tensified kind of moments with that music, and also some other scenes where they really use some trippy music that really ties into the setting as to what is going on in the film. I like that we have this setting out in the cabin in the woods. We have these two couples, one has kids, one does not. They go hiking in the woods and they stumble upon this old building with a cave, and when they go into this cave, the children, they're looking in this cave and they see these green lights. They're really fixated by these lights, and there's this underlying mystery about these lights, and it really actually has some intrigue for the film, and they use this throughout the film, and it really makes you want to know what is going to happen next. There's an overall dynamic of couples here. So you have one couple who is married and has two children, and they're actually having marriage problems. And then you have another couple, they're together and they're going steady, but they don't have children, and of course they're going to get those questions asked. Why don't you have children? When are you going to have them? What are you waiting on? Those kinds of questions. There's also an underlying subject of parenting, watching kids. Do you have the stabilization to actually handle kids if you don't have them? And also drugs and prescription kind of drugs, of when you're taking these drugs, can you handle certain realities? Are you seeing visions? Those kinds of underlying mysteries that really come up upon the film. And of course you have these kids that are driving this one man crazy of the fact that he's taking these prescription drugs, certain things that he's seen from these kids. Is it reality, or is it something that is actually in his head, and a cause and effect from these drugs that he's taking? And while a lot of the ideas that are presented seem very intriguing, it's not a film that really elaborates on a lot of its premise. For instance, it shows a creature feature portion, but it really doesn't actually elaborate on the context of that throughout the film. You see like little glimpses of that, and you're just kind of wondering, well, how did that happen in the film, and why is this happening? And there isn't more elaboration of that. The cave portion, we don't get a lot of context on that, so you're just kind of left wondering, like, why is this happening? Why are the children misbehaving and doing the things that they're doing? And you really just don't get any kind of actual explanation. And I feel like the writers here, they want the audience to really make a lot of assumptions and kind of figure it out on their own. They don't really have like an actual underlying, I would say, like, way that they want to explain this to the audience. They don't want to spoon feed it, which I don't think they really need to, but there isn't a lot of really context to really showing actual ideas here. And that's what really makes the film feel a little bit underutilized to its ideas and the execution that it's trying to follow through with. It reminded me in small doses of Infinity Pool, not that artsy and not that crazy in context, but small little glimpses reminded me of Infinity Pool. The horror portion of this film, it's pretty tame to a point. It presents a little bit of horror aspects. Don't expect any jump scares, demons, entities. You're not going to get that in this film. And I also felt like the film, the way that it wraps up, I think I know it happens, but I also feel like the writers here, they leave it kind of open-ended there. So I think that the way that this film the way that it chugs along and the way that it presents certain ideas, I feel like it's a little bit unfinished, and it really just kind of left me kind of disappointed. At first, I was going to give a score of this film a 2 out of 5, but then I really thought about it. I was really intrigued in this movie, and I think that there were ideas that I really did like about it. Acting wise, I thought it was fine. Certain small little horror parts were fine in the movie. Obviously, it wasn't an overly scary movie. It's not a movie that you really need to leave the lights on or anything like that, but it does present some intrigue, and it definitely presents an underlying mystery, and you want to know a little bit more, and unfortunately you just don't get that with this film. So as far as a score for this film, I would give it a 2.5 out of 5. I think this is an okay film. I think it has some things that I really did like about it. Acting wise, it's fine, has an intriguing premise, a good setting, good score, but overall it just doesn't really wrap up in the end that I really want it to. I would say in certain aspects, if you don't like A24 films, there are a little bit of aspects of A24 here, but not exactly that artsy in that way, because it is a little bit more simplified, I would say. But there are some parts in here that are presented that just don't really get really full-fledged explained, and really just never really come to fruition. And unfortunately, that's what really bogs down the film for me. So let me know in the comments, have you checked out this film? Are you interested in checking out this film if you have not checked it out? Thank you guys for listening to this review, and I will see you guys on my next review.